Treasure Coast Connector, connecting residents and businesses of the Treasure Coast. And here's your host, Ellen Contreras.
Well, welcome to Treasure Coast Connector. I'm your host, Ellen Contreras. I'm proud to announce that We Venture is one of our sponsors. They work with business owners in Brevard, Indian River, and St. Lucie counties, helping them grow their business. They just came out with an exciting announcement. So the Economic Development Council in St. Lucie County and CoLab in Vero Beach, they are going to be doing in-person and virtual consulting out of both of those locations at specific times. On the We Venture website, you can find all the details about this information and all the resources that they have to offer to help you grow your business. The website, weventure.fit.edu, or call them directly at 321-674-7007. Treasure Coast Connector is a show that puts a spotlight on local business owners. Everyone in our backyard, the business owners here, they all have interesting stories of what got them started in their business. So I like to, introduce them to you so you can learn about them, because when we shop local and do business locally, it's great for our economy. So they say that everyone has a book waiting. It's inside of them waiting to get out. Is this your year to get published? Joining me in the studio today is a very prolific author who has her own publishing company. Janet Searsant is the owner of La Maison Publishing Incorporated. She's here to talk about the books that she's written and how she helps other people get the books that are in their heads and out into print. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Yeah, I'm so happy to have you here, especially after, because I've talked to you a little bit, in the recent past, but when we had coffee like the week before last, wow, I couldn't wait to get I couldn't wait to sit on the couch and read the very first book that you wrote, Gemini Joe. And this book started it all for you.
Yes.
So if you can explain, what got you started at being a writer?
Actually, I didn't get my start until I was in my 30s. My father and I never really had a close relationship. And when he divorced my mother, I didn't speak to him for a few years. One day he wrote a letter to me and included a poem. And I never knew my father wrote poetry. So I got very curious and I answered, and he sent me all his poetry. Then I got really curious and I asked him if he would tell me his story about growing up, because I realized I didn't know really much about him. Wow. And he agreed and tried to write it out. He wrote 10 pages of his memories growing up in Brooklyn, but he was sick. He had emphysema, so he really couldn't do it. And I almost gave up. Mm-hmm. Then I had the idea to give him a tape recorder. And I showed him how to use it, and he made me 5 cassette tapes telling me all his memories growing up in Brooklyn, and it actually opened up our relationship, because every week I'd call him and ask him questions about things, and we developed a relationship. And at the end of the tapes, I just decided to put everything together and write a book. So I did. And I finished the book, unfortunately, a few months before he passed.
Okay.
But here I had this book, and I had his voice, and I was just so happy that we did develop a relationship. So I went to New York a few times I thought I had a bestseller. It was about Brooklyn, and I thought, oh, this is great, So I went to New York, and after about 3 or 4 times, I realized that they were looking for people, what they call, that had a platform, either a celebrity, a politician, someone with notoriety. So that, because bottom line, they want to have a successful business.
Sure.
So I felt so discouraged. And then I had the idea, I'll start my own publishing company. If the publishing company doesn't want me, I'll start my own. And I did. And I published my first book, Gemini Joe. And I moved to Vero, joined some writing groups, started a critique group at the library. And after a while, people were asking me if I could help them with their book.
Yeah.
And I did. And I was still writing my own books, but I was helping, and my client list started growing. And now I have over 100 clients.
Wow. Yeah.
And it's just been amazing.
Yes, yes. And you know what I have to say is, in the green room that we have here at Planet Vero, I mentioned that I had wanted, you put this in my hand almost 2 weeks ago, and I wanted to read it, and then I just didn't think about it, unfortunately. It was on my coffee table. I picked it up yesterday, and I read it in a matter of hours. Invisible hands reached out and attached me to this book.
Wow.
And this is something I didn't say in the green room. The poetry, before each chapter, there's one of his poems.
Right.
And I have to say, for someone that had a rough and tumble start to his life as a young kid in Brooklyn, right? Education wasn't, the focus and, with his young life. You would never know that by what he spoke to you in the tapes, and his poetry shows such a deep level of thinking. Right. And one thing I just want to make sure that people understand with this book in particular is, while it's wonderful to be entertained by a book, this is heartwarming, it's tragic, it's made me cry at the end. You made my mascara run. I loved it. It had everything in it. But what I really want people to understand is that this might help them, either help them heal themselves from a family issue, or start their own lines of communication. This might be the catalyst. I'm telling you that I even said, when you described the book, I'm like, this is going to help people, not just entertain. I'm going to look at the camera and, okay, you have to. I mean, if you have some family issues, I just recommend, reading this book. It's so entertaining, but yet it will help inspire so many other people.
It helped me to heal, because I am the adult child of an alcoholic. My father was a drinker, and we were just never very close. But at the end of the book, I was able to let my whole childhood, he wasn't, it didn't make him a better father, but he was a man, and he was my father, and he did the best he could, and
he did the best he could with what he had.
Right. And I forgave him, and the forgiveness part was very healing. For me. It's
a weight off of you. Yeah. So it's wonderful. So let's segue into, we have a smattering, because you have written a lot of books. So you do have a lot of books. So tell us about some of the other genres that you write, I
try to write in all genres. I just couldn't stop writing after that. Right after Gemini Joe, I began writing my own memoirs, but I write them under a pen name.
Okay.
But aside from that, I did Ancestry a few years ago, and I found over 100 cousins that lived in Sicily that I didn't know I had. So I made 5 trips, and I wrote Sauce on Sunday, which people say, oh, it's gravy, not sauce. But I found out when I went to Sicily, if it has meat in it, it's gravy. If there's no meat, it's sauce. But sauce sounds better. So Sauce on Sunday. So I wrote that book, and there's pictures and recipes and the history of where my grandfather grew up in this little fishing village. And that gets a lot of attention. People like that. In fact, I am a member of the genealogy at the library. And we're talking about getting a writers group going for people who want to write their own family stories. So that is something in the future that is coming up. Very nice. But aside from that, I wrote 3 children's books, 2 poetry books, and I finished last year my first historical fiction called Donna de Shaka.
Okay.
Which is, Shaka is the fishing village where my grandfather grew up. But Donna de Shaka, I actually took one little piece of truth that my mother told me before she died. She told me she always loved her cousin, and they were very close. So I took that little truth and I spun a story out of it, and I wrote Donna de Shaka, a Brooklyn love story. So that one's finished, and I took a break after my mother passed away, and I wrote Ocean's Daughter, which is more of a picture book. It's a coffee table book, and it's over the past 11 years. Pictures
I'm not a good Vanna, sorry.
In and around Vero Beach. In fact, Mulligan's has one in their little waiting room.
It's
Every once in a
beautiful.
while, I have to go give them another one because someone walks off with it. But you can get all my books at the Vero Beach Book Center.
Where can they say that again?
Vero Beach Book Center.
Okay.
I mean, you can get them online at Amazon, but I always say shop local. And we're so lucky to have an actual bookstore in Vero Beach,
It's
and we
a
don't want
wonderful
it to
bookstore.
disappear.
No.
You know, because everyone does everything online, and it's so much easier to do that, but it's worth it to shop local. And actually, you can call them on the phone and order the book, and they'll tell you when it's in. So it's just a phone call.
So if it doesn't happen to be on the shelf, they will get it
They
in.
will, yes.
Okay, so for those that are able to watch this on live stream and on Comcast Xfinity, we have a graphic going up that says how, to get in touch with you. But for people that are listening on Spreaker, and on iHeartRadio, so your name, Janet, Janet, Sierzant, Sierz as in zebra, ANT. So if someone goes on to Amazon.com, all they have to do is type in books and then your name, and then everything comes up. So that's a really great thing too. Yeah. Because people watch this show far and wide, not just the Treasure Coast.
Well, I just finished my latest book, which is in the editing stage, but it should be out within a month, and it's actually called The Green Room, and it's my first psychological mystery. So I love to do different genres, and I would love to do a screenplay someday. I just love writing. I love what I do.
So that's nice. So you didn't pick a genre to stay in, as some authors do. So your thought is, whatever interests me, I will write about. And because I now know your writing style, I can't wait to get my hands. I really do want to read Sauce on Sunday, and then the other one, which is about your mom, but not fully. It's like based on.
It's based on her memories and her growing up in Brooklyn, and maybe a little bit of my memories too, but it's a fiction. So it's a love story.
Yes, absolutely. And what we are going to do is take a quick break. But Janet Sierzant of La Maison Publishing Incorporated, we have so much more to talk about. Stay tuned.
A big challenge that we've had for our business during COVID has been keeping the relationships with our clients at a distance.
WeVenture is dedicated to helping ignite the power of small businesses in Indian River and St. Lucie County who've been hit hard by the COVID pandemic. Thanks to a grant from the SBA, WeVenture can now provide support to your business free of charge.
Our WeVenture one-on-one mentorship taught us how to pivot and strengthen our business even during COVID.
Receive one-on-one mentoring, incorporating proven solutions to help your business survive, even thrive in this challenging environment.
During COVID, my main goal was to keep my employees paid and reopen safely.
WeVenture is dedicated to helping ignite the power of small businesses in Indian River and St. Lucie County who've been hit hard by the COVID pandemic. Thanks to a grant from the SBA, WeVenture can now provide support to your business free of charge.
WeVenture helped me navigate all the loan processes. I don't know what I would have done without them.
Receive one-on-one mentoring, incorporating proven solutions to help your business survive, even thrive in this challenging environment.
This is Arturo Alici, chef owner of American Grill. We only use fresh Florida beef.
I love the burgers you have at American Grill, Arturo, but I also love the salads, the pizzas. My dad loves the penny pasta. And one of the things about your burgers is you have camel burger and boar burger and elk burger.
I am exotic. I love exotic stuff. We have 7-night civic entertainment, many more coming.
Great food, crazy chef. American Grill in the South Vero Plaza on US 1 at Oslo.
If you operate a small business, you need services like payroll, tax compliance, HR tools, and other resources. You need Complete Employee Solutions. Vero Beach has a team of professionals, including Anthony Sammons, Matt McCain, and Jennifer Comer, who saw the need for competent payroll, HR, and employee leasing services. Call Complete Employee Solutions at 772-978-7277 or visit their website at CompleteEmployeeSolutions.com.
Blue Dolphin Pools strives to provide quality service with a well-trained staff in the field and in the office. They want you to know that your pool or spa investment means much more to them than just another account. They believe you have entrusted them with your investment, and they'll do their best to see that it stays in top condition. Blue Dolphin Pool has been in business over 35 years, setting them apart from the competition. Residential or commercial, Blue Dolphin will keep you in the swim. 567-5853.
Riverside Theater presents Live in the Loop and the Comedy Zone. Live in the Loop Outdoor Grill and Bar offers outdoor dining with live music plus indoor dining with comedy in the Wax Lax this weekend. Strict CDC and state guidelines will be followed, including reduced public capacity and face mask use. Cleanliness and hygiene safety have been reinforced. Enjoy a thrilling evening with live music, uproarious adult stand-up comedy, and dining at Riverside Theater. For details and to obtain tickets, visit riversidetheater.com.
Well, welcome back to Treasure Coast Connector. I'm your host, Ellen Contreras, and We Venture is one of our sponsors. And in the studio with me is Janet Searsant. She is a prolific author and the owner of La Maison Publishing Incorporated. And we've been having this great conversation about these amazing books that you have written that are entertaining but can also really help people as well, especially the ones that you've written under a pen name, okay? Right. But now I want to talk about the people that are listening and watching that have a book inside of them, right? And they just are stuck at that point. So what do you tell someone?
Don't be afraid to tell your story and be realistic. I mean, you know, it doesn't have to be a bestseller. It could be something very cathartic. I always tell people, if you have a parent alive, give them a tape recorder, because you'll find out so many things that you never really knew. Yeah. And you can't ask them once they're gone. So, but it could spark something in you to write your story. And I do have a critique group that I started called Writer's Window Pane at the Indian River Library. Of course, we can't meet right now because of COVID, but we do the Skype. Okay. We have a Skype meeting every Friday.
Meeting, but in a different way.
But I also do an in-person meeting at Memorial Park at Friday at 12:30 in the afternoon. Oh, okay. Because some people don't want to do the Skype. They want to meet in person, and it's outside, and they like it. So I've been helping.
Veterans Memorial Park.
Veterans Memorial Park near Riverside, and I always, you know, I tell people, bring 6 pages. Just start somewhere. You don't even have to.
So that's the thing. Don't write an outline. Just put pen to paper or fingers to a key, keyboard, and it's like that. What do they call it? Stream of conscious. Just start.
Just start somewhere. You could always move it around, but start with a memory that you want to, or something that interests you that you want to talk about, because everyone has a story. And I have the critique group, and you bring 6 pages, and everyone gets a chance to read, and we help each other. So we've, I've had a lot of authors finish their books through our critique.
Wow. And this is free. These meetings are free.
Yes, the meetings are totally free.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I've been doing it for almost 12 years at the library, and they don't charge anything.
That's wonderful. But you do have a publishing company, and it started where people were asking, well, for you wanted to publish your book. Right. And then people started asking. Right. So you said to me when we last met that you have different types of services depending on what's needed. So what are some of those services?
Well, first I started with the traditional, because the traditional is where you have full distribution, and a lot of people at the time, it was 2000. 2008, 2009, and people weren't really knowledgeable about self-publishing at the time.
Okay.
So I would format their books to the size they wanted and help them design a cover, and I would upload it to my printer, and it would be full distribution. But then as things started changing and people were doing self-publishing, a lot of people said, why should I pay a publisher? I'll do it myself, you know? So I started changing my company where I have a la carte services.
It's scalable, so that's perfect.
Because a lot of people were doing the self-publishing, and then they'd come to me and they'd say, could you fix my book? Because they didn't know about formatting, and they didn't really understand the concepts that you needed. So now I offer a la carte services. I'll format an interior, help you with your cover, and then you can have your files and get your book printed wherever you want, you know, and I do help self-published authors.
Okay.
And I also have the package of traditional publishing, which includes the printed book and digital revisions, the ISBN number, everything, the copyright page. It's like a package.
Okay.
So I do have a flyer on, I have a Facebook page for Maison Publishing.
I was just going to ask, so please tell everyone how they can connect with you directly.
And they can connect with me. I will send them information about what I do, and that's another thing. My clients keep their rights to their book.
Nice.
I never take the rights away. So you pay me to publish your book, but if you decide you want to go somewhere else, or if you want to do it yourself, you have the right to do that, and I just transfer it over, and you keep your rights.
Very good. So, so again, just say your contact information for everyone that's listening.
Yes. Yeah. I'm here locally, downtown in Vero. And I meet with people. I make house calls if you're older and you don't, or if you're not computer literate.
A phone number, like that kind of thing.
And the phone number is 772-532-5972, or you can email me at lamaisonpublishing@gmail.com.
Well, very good. So what I want to do very quickly before time runs out is say a thank you to WeVenture for partially sponsoring this show. It's wonderful for you to help business owners in Brevard and Indian River and St. Lucie County launch and scale and grow. There is so much information on their website to help you, weventure.fit.edu, or call them at 321-674-7007. So we have the 2-minute mark from Cindy, so we can just chat for a moment or two longer. Before we do wrap up, though, is there anything else you wanted to say that maybe we didn't touch on?
Well, like I said, don't let anyone discourage you. If you have a story, be brave and tell it. I was always told no when I was growing up. I was told I couldn't go to college. I wasn't college material. I did, and I received my bachelor's degree from Kennesaw State University. I was told I couldn't write a book, and I wrote Gemini Joe. I was told I couldn't start a publishing company, and I started La Maison Publishing. I just tell people, don't get discouraged. Just tell your story, and don't be self-conscious about it, because it's your story and only you can tell it.
Yes, absolutely. So I am just so glad that you came onto this show. It's 14 books and counting, because you just can't stop writing.
I can't stop writing.
So that is wonderful. And Amazon and the Vero Beach Book Center, locally that they can get. So thank you so very much, for being part of this show. And my name is Ellen Contreras, and I'm the host of Treasure Coast Connector. And it is just such a pleasure to put a spotlight on the businesses that are up and down the Treasure Coast, because as you can tell with each and every episode, there's a lot of interesting people that have done cool things with their life, and it is so much fun to have them on week after week. And I hope that this helped you to get your book written. I hope everyone has a wonderful and productive week. Look.